rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer for Bill Waller. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. So I'd just like to make a mention that Bill served on a number of town committees over the years and constantly volunteered in our community, and he will be very well missed, deeply missed. Yeah, BTI is another thing, yeah. So before we get started, I just want to remind everyone to please hold your comments back until public comment towards the end of the meeting so that it doesn't kind of interrupt as the board is discussing different things. And next we will move on to, has everyone received the minutes and had a chance to read through them? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next is Randy.
Hey, I know an email was sent out, but if anybody didn't notice, you should take a look. The sidewalks are completed at the town building.
Oh, good.
I think he did a very, very nice job.
Looks good.
Very meticulous work, let's put it that way.
Nice.
John Foley started this weekend. We did some landscaping. He started, removing anti-landscaping. So I'm assuming after the rains go away, he'll come back in and do some more of the original plan for the flower beds and all that. Other older news, museum railings that were discussed last meeting were painted the next day, and then we received a thank you from the Historical Society also, so that came out well. The boat wash station that we talked about, we settled out that one day up to Thursday, it's going to go up for demonstration at Soil and Water, and then we'll bring it back. They'll have it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday we'll pick it up and store it for winter. So we got to the bottom of that. This building, fiber lines were installed overhead over to the pole, and then using a existing conduit into here. So that went rather easily. The conduit was underneath the brand new blacktop. They had a little discrepancy with that. So the new fiber lines aren't where they can just replace the ends, and it's a nice small line. It's got a 3/4 inch ball on the end of it, so it has to be a large conduit that if anybody is thinking of getting ahead of the system. It fit through ours. We had a rope there and pulled it through. Don brought up the side-by-side ordering and what time we'd actually receive it. So I called the lowest estimate person, and he said if we order it 2 weeks ago, we would get it sometime in the beginning of January. That is his best guess, and the way things are being shipped nowadays, it's probably
Good question.
yeah. So that brings up the next question is, do we want to do something proactively for that? To resolve that, The
Why
problem
can't we
is,
just hold on to the old one until the new one comes in?
well, we can do that. We can,
I know that wasn't the plan, but
right. I mean, that's option A. So by then we'll have snow and the 6-wheeler doesn't have track. So that is,
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that.
yeah. that's not the most conducive, but I mean, Don, you've driven that thing in the snow, it's really not.
Uphill's not good.
Yeah, thankfully, we winch it every hill. So, you know, it's a crapshoot whether or not we'll even need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Up till that point. So, we'll just,
I hope we do.
we missed the prime hunting area for selling it, but it is what it is. And I guess it's a safer bet.
Is there a possibility we do a little bit of short-term rental on a snowmobile if we need to?
Well, I'm sure that we could come up with something. I mean,
Because if we can get a good price for the six-wheeler now, it'd be a shame to hold on to it until January at the earliest.
right, if we didn't even need it.
Right.
You know,
But
I still need at least 2 to 3 more weeks, you know, till November at least to get the trails. Of
course.
Gone through, but
right.
my goal, my idea was in November, put it on the auction, but, yeah, that's an idea that we did, just, if we have to, we rent something, at, you know, one day or whatever, or use somebody.
Yeah, because I'd hate to leave somebody stranded.
Yeah, no, that's not an option.
No.
And the worst comes to worst, we all know the jail has a side-by-side with tracks. So, the sheriff's department.
But, yeah.
Shared services.
Exactly, shared services. So, as long as it's not in Tupper Lake, we're all good.
Yeah, right.
So that's the time frame. If we wait till the budget's passed and, you know, so on and so forth, then go ahead and order it, we're still not gonna have it till, that'll be, you know, February, March. So, that's what we're looking at. I don't know. If you wanted to do anything other than that, that's,
Would we have to pay for that in this budget year before it was ordered, or when
I
we
don't think
receive
so. I
it?
think it's, we as a town, we normally, you take,
Right, no, I'm aware of that part, but I
Right.
just, but I
Yes.
wasn't sure if they needed a deposit or.
they may, I didn't ask that question. I can find that out. And that's just a simple email to them. And being a town, I don't know if he'd waive that.
Let's hope.
Right.
Well, it's, a lot of times it's only like a $500 deposit to
Right.
order it anyway.
Right.
It's not like you have to give half or a third or anything.
Right,
Normally, if it's,
yeah. So I'll ask him that tomorrow and then I'll email you guys the results of that.
okay.
Thank you.
Well, I think we need to leave some latitude for Randy to do what's best here instead of me quoting the switches. I'm inclined to agree with Chris here that it's nice to have it in hand until, but if you see a deal that's terrific and something that you don't want to pass up, we can always rent, borrow, beg, but we're gonna get through.
Right.
But sooner, if it's something we need, it's, you know, we should get it ordered.
Yep.
Okay. And the next larger item on my list is the first mile and a half of our section of Yeomantown is paved.
Nice.
Went very well last Thursday and Friday, and came out very well. We still have to put shoulders on and then put a sealer on top of it for this winter. But, went almost like clockwork, so. Yeah, exactly. So we had a very, very good shared services turnout of townships. I asked for 10 trucks and we ended up with 17.
It was like 2 lines.
Yes, they were
from
all in the
road
parking
all the
lot.
way in, all day long. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, we had about 3 at the paver, good 4 or 5 at the plug mill, and trucks in between.
Yeah,
So it was just like a constant train of, and
really
it went
was.
very well.
I saw that when I
Unbelievable.
was there, yeah.
So Long Lake, every town, essentially, so.
Wow,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
The way
awesome.
it's supposed to work.
that
Yep.
is exactly it.
Yeah,
Oh, that's it.
that's it?
That's all I have for now.
My goodness.
Okay.
Oh, I got a question.
Okay.
Have you heard anything about the vents in the buildings?
I spoke to Mr. Risher, and he still promises me it will be done this fall. And he is a little backed up at this point, but he knows it's on my radar. I just saw him 2 weeks ago, and I said, we need this done before it gets cold, it's going to be done,
Maybe nice.
so.
From personal experience, you have to keep on them.
Anything else?
That's why
Anything else?
That's it.
he was pulling out of his driveway and I wheeled in front of him.
Let him get
Been
away.
there, done that.
Okay, so moving on to old business, the handbook update. As I had told you last time, I was supposed to contact 2 consultants and I hadn't. I only contacted the first one, which was public sector, which is the one that we originally had that did it in 2006, started it for us. And that the counties was done in 2010, same company, HR sector. So he did send me the Word file for us to work with and make changes, but the only thing about that, Neil and Nancy, as the committee, we have made changes since 2006, so that's why the new ones that I gave you, I copied off of Debbie's master in her office, so
These
that,
are up to-
so they're all up to date. They're up to date, yes. Anyway, moving right along, so what public sector said was, as I had said last time, is that go ahead and we'll make the changes, we would send it to them. They would go ahead and make the changes, look it over, make any changes they felt would be necessary, and that their estimate was $2,500 and that it could be done by January 22nd. The second company that I contacted was Puzzle HR LLC. I spoke to Frank Tortora. He asked many questions. He said that once we sent him the first draft, it would take 35 to 40 days. Then once we look it over, as he made his suggested changes or additions to it, it would take another 45 to 50 days, but a total of 90 days. And he said it would be done by January 22 at a price of $4,150. So I am looking for the board for your input and decision on which company you feel that we should be going with. So I'll open it up for discussion.
I will just throw out there that the county and in fact the town in the past has had good luck with HR, with public sector.
How much
I
did the
agree.
second firm want?
The second firm wanted $4,150.
I think that makes it a pretty easy choice.
Exactly.
I don't know.
He had a lot of very good ideas. He really did. And one of his good ideas and I told him from the start that he was a second, I was just getting an estimate as the board had asked me to do. But he also would like to see us go with, they would actually update and all our job descriptions. As laws change, they would keep updating our handbook, so that everything was always up to date. But that second part is $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, which I personally feel that, I think we're on top of it enough, we're small enough that we can handle this on our own. His idea is because every time we need a change in the handbook, because our handbook is like not really in black and white, it's always a gray area, I have to contact the town attorney. But there's no way the town attorney charges us $12,000 a year. The few times we had to contact her, you're probably talking under $1,000.
And moreover, the idea here is for us to give plain language updates of what we're looking for. And then the people who are professionals at this give us verbiage that isn't gray, right?
Right,
I mean,
right. And both companies said that they would do the
we're just looking to
same.
get BS, I can give you that,
Right.
you know,
Right.
that's
Right.
not.
Oh,
I
come
have to
on, Neil, not you. Come on.
That's true.
What he was saying sounded very good for a big corporation maybe, that,
Right.
has, 500 employees. But as small as we are,
Our scope and our exposure is way, way too small for that.
absolutely. So I'm looking for a motion from someone.
I said,
Neil moves it.
I'll second.
Nancy? All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Okay, easy decision. Okay. Next is the right-of-way closing. We finally closed last Tuesday, September 28th. It was a long process, I just want to thank this board and everybody, Randy, Debbie, because it was a very long process and a lot to make it finally happen. We have the sign here tonight. And at the end of the board meeting, I would really like if the board and Randy and Debbie would stay and let's get a picture, so maybe we could possibly get it on our Facebook page and our website, just to let everybody know it finally happened. Peter Anderson is the new owner. He's happier than we are, if you can imagine that. So it's finally done.
Peter had his own sign.
Everything is, actually, I didn't really say anything, but before September, our sign was taken down. It has not been located, so we had to borrow this sign today from Oxbow Road, and it's going back tomorrow morning, so we could get this picture tonight. There was a sign up there, private property, that someone put up. Peter wasn't sure who, he just said the right-of-way owners, and he was gonna try to locate the sign, and he was not able to. So instead of making something of it, I knew this was coming, and it happened, and we're done. We're past that. So that's the story with the right-of-way. Congratulations to all of us.
I wish all involved well.
Absolutely. I think it's a good ending for everyone.
Looks to be.
Yep. Next is the assessor. I have been assured,
Sounds like.
I have been assured from Barry Baker, that we will have a new assessor shortly, and all files have been kept up to date with Barry as everything has gone all along. And at this time, I guess that's all I really can say about that, because nothing's been confirmed yet, but we're assured of that. Next is the Museum Fundraiser. Chris, I'm gonna give that to you.
Right, well, the Apple Fest historical display table was very popular. We got $900 in donations that day. And that brought us up to $1,295, unless some more come in since then.
I got 2 envelopes today. I think
One's
one was
50.
50 and the other 40.
Yes.
Something like that. But I will make copies and send you the information
Okay.
tomorrow so that you know. I didn't get a chance to process that
So that
today.
was, what, $1,385?
Yeah, we're doing well.
And we just started fundraising.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm very happy
Yep.
with how it's going. I'm working on a second display so we can rotate them with events instead of just having the same one every time.
Yeah,
As far as I know, the next event will be the holiday stroll. And I'm going to ask the library if we can have a table here. So I'm planning on going to the next library board meeting to ask them that, and that's tomorrow. And I dug up, believe it or not, I found the fundraising thermometer that we had in front of the building.
excellent.
Yep, it was behind the Friends shed, and it's not in bad shape at all.
Oh, good.
So I took it down to Jim Miller, and he's going to rework it for us for the museum.
Great,
So I
great.
just have to talk to Shorty
Okay,
and find out where he wants to have it, but it needs to be on the museum facing the
yeah,
property.
absolutely.
So I think that will help gin up some interest.
Well, thank you for all you've done. You're really pushing along and making this
I enjoy
happen.
doing it.
Well, we appreciate it. Anybody else have anything for Chris?
No, it's wonderful she found that.
Absolutely. That's gonna be a big help.
New use,
Yep.
reuse, recycle.
Okay, next thing is the cell tower update. There were a few glitches about a week and a half ago, but they're all live now. So let's hope it makes a difference. Has anybody heard anything?
Not at my
Any
house.
board members?
Doesn't make a difference if they.
Not at your, well, you're kind of like Nancy. Neil,
You have,
any
you
different?
haven't?
Haven't,
No.
You haven't either?
Nothing
not
named.
twigs, no.
Okay, okay, so,
Betsy, mine's fine.
Where we
Yours
have
is fine.
trouble getting reception there, so I thought it would improve, but not yet.
okay, well. Okay, next is Dunn's RO system. I'm sure you saw in the bills today, there's a voucher from H2O Pure. Bill went to Dunn's on the 23rd and replaced the float on the 300-gallon storage tank and adjusted the float switch. They were having problems most of the summer. The problem is sort of fixed. Judy Dunn called me today. So I think at this point, I think it's going to be easier to have Dunn's talk directly to Bill and cut out a middle person so that any questions Bill has or Dunn's have, they can talk directly. So I couldn't get a hold of Bill today. I'll try again tomorrow morning and try to make that connection to figure out what this last little bit of a problem is and get it fixed. That's all we have on the ROs. Next, I have new business zoning code enforcement officer. Bob will be retiring at the end of the year in December. He's going to be here to help train the new employee once we advertise. Hopefully we'll get a few applicants and the board can interview like we did for Bob at Town Hall, have the whole board there, and I have the job description on my desk, and the salary is $15,500, and it's based on 20 hours a week. So I guess I'm looking for a motion from the board to get approval to advertise and get this moving along.
I sadly so move.
Absolutely.
Second?
I'll second again.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just on that, Bob also does services for the village, so I assume they'll be,
He does, but I didn't want to make this public till tonight. I let him handle the village end. I'm not sure if he was waiting till tonight and then, or if he went to talk to them today. So, yeah.
well, I bring it up because I don't know if you can share people or share services just the same, but the fact is that it takes a certain amount of training and a certain amount of schooling to do this, and while we're stumbling through finding a new adequate person, Bob has been very, very good. This would be a perfect time to work with them, so that someone might be able to craft a job, a full job out of this, right?
Yeah.
If they
And the schooling
become the
is,
same person.
yes, and the schooling is usually 6 weeks. I think Bob said 3 days a week or something, but it's all going to be virtual until the end of the year. So hopefully maybe that's something that he can do, and then he and Bob can work together in between. Told Bob when he first told me, I asked him if he would give it some time and think about it through the week and over the weekend and talk to me on Monday, because selfishly I didn't want to hear this.
Right.
And I tell you the truth, I could have cried.
Me too.
Because in our office, we all are such a team and all work together and help each other, and it's kind of like, you know, you're gonna have a new person here and a new person here, and it's a little concerning, but it'll all work out.
Yeah.
So-
When Bob was hired, there was a bunch of people looking at the job.
Yeah,
So hopefully there will be
Yeah.
that much interest
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
like I said, we'll have to work together on
When do you wanna start
questions, and I'd like to start advertising right away.
Yeah.
I have the job description, which I'll make sure you have a copy as well, so
Yeah.
anybody that comes in for an application,
Well, we can just post what we had in the paper before, I'm sure I have a copy of it,
yeah, I would think so.
yeah.
If this person is going to be trained this year, is that on-the-job training? I mean, being
Yes.
paid for the balance of this year then?
I'm gonna say yes, depending how soon we can get him.
Right.
Bob would like to retire, you know, even before the end of the year, but he said he would stay through the end of December to help this new person get started.
One of the small positives here, if there aren't any, is that we've been steered towards this software. And hopefully, I know the village purchased similar software.
Same, yeah.
So there again, we might be able to coalesce something, but clearly it makes the job a lot easier. That was
Yes.
something he was working us towards, is having an inventory and ease of search that,
Yeah.
that should make the job, you know,
Yeah.
more palatable for others.
Yes.
But maybe we'll have a chance, we can get that ad written up for, I can get that done, and
Okay.
get it in the paper for next week.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Here's my first page.
That's the last of the bad news you've got for us.
I know, well, you figure we're gonna have a new assessor, we're gonna have a new building inspector and a new town clerk, so it's like there's 3 positions out of 5, you know, all at once, so it's
Council
kinda.
people.
And 2 new council people, yeah. So it's gonna be different, but anyway. Okay, so the tentative budget was given to Debbie on Thursday, that's September 30th. You've all received your copy of the tentative budget. We will not be going through the budget tonight. I just want to let everyone know that New York State retirement will be $30,790 less than we figured in the tentative budget. We got a new update, and it's going to be less. Good night, guys.
Good night, folks.
Hope you feel better. The budget workshops will be in tomorrow's newspaper already, and we'll start on Wednesday, October 6th at 10 a.m. Wednesday, October 13th at 10 a.m. And if needed, the third one is scheduled for Monday, October 18th at 1 p.m. The workshops will be held at the Municipal Center, Town Hall. And they will be open to the public. Okay, everybody comfortable with all that? Did you get all that, Chris?
Yep, I did, thank you.
Good job, okay. Okay, next, consolidated health. I've received our fourth quarter bill from GAVAC. The consolidated health district is a little short, so I would like to use the GAVAC budget line to voucher $1,100 to the consolidated health. And then in January, consolidated health will pay back the GAVAC line. And just so that you know, I did increase the budget this year for consolidated health due to on county level when I turned in the budget in August. So it should not be a problem again. So I guess at this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve to move that, transfer that money.
I'll approve.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Must be done.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next we have committee reports. Don, we'll start with you.
Just we need, I guess Nancy and I need to get together with Oak Mountain and Sammy and
Yeah.
whoever.
Oh, now that we have new figures from her, it'd be nice to have an idea of how many kids we're looking at to figure it out. Yeah.
Does she have usually pretty good handle on that?
Better than we would.
Well, of course.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you look at enrollment in the school, and if it's
Yeah, guesstimate off of that.
guesstimate.
Okay. Neil?
Nothing on committee.
Nothing? Okay. Nancy?
No.
No? Chris, anything on committee? No? Okay.
I just want
Deb?
to, committee, just want to remind those who are on the insurance committee, which would be Christine, Randy, myself, and Betsy. We have a meeting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with USI Insurance, Health Insurance. Just a reminder about that. At 10 o'clock.
Okay, next, I'm looking for a motion to pay the bills from October 1st.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
I have a question about one of the vouchers.
Discussion, sure.
I forget which bill it was, but it had, a library credit card. It had $39 late charge on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was also an interest fee of 11 something. And I'm wondering how that happened.
Well-
if there's something that can be
Well,
done in the
what,
future.
we did, we worked on it,
Charge.
and I believe if we pull the bill, we don't have the bill. Because Sherry gets her mail here in a mailbox at the end of her driveway here, and we get our bills through our PO boxes, our bills come before hers. So, a couple weeks ago, I sat on the phone with the credit card company and Sherry, and we talked about it. They did remove that late charge. And actually, because we explained the circumstances, she actually got her card billed like 2 days before ours. So I think we kind of rearranged that whole timing thing off because it was,
That's what I was hoping they could do.
because it was ridiculous, you know?
And it was like every other month it was
Yeah,
happening.
and then we were having to have a second bill paid
Yeah.
because of the credit card. So I believe all those charges will be seen waived in the future for next bill, and hopefully we got, like I said, I think we got to the bottom of it. But we wondered why she was getting it so late, but she has a PO box, a mailbox at the end here, so her mail comes a little bit later than our mail does.
Doesn't make any
That
sense.
doesn't make any sense.
But you know what, if you wanna get on the phone and talk to them,
It's
that,
the only
the only thing we
explanation
can think
get out
of is that
Crazy.
I don't know.
Either that or put it
It's the
into
same
our
thing.
mailbox.
If they
But see,
waive it,
yeah, but see, that's what happened when we used to get the credit card bill, then we would put it on her table, whoever was gonna pick up their mail, and days would go by and they wouldn't pick it up.
right,
So, you know, to chase after somebody constantly, so
Yeah, or,
that's what we did.
or just fax it to her and.
But you know how that is, Nance.
Yeah, I do.
the good
You
news,
know, the babysitting's gotta stop one way or
It
the other.
does, it does. Everybody needs to be
Yeah,
responsible.
so this is what we did.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, Chris, this
Yeah.
was effective and worked this month. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
if they waive the
Yep.
fee.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next is public comment.
Public comment.
Nancy. Nancy.
Karen.
I'm sorry, Karen.
That's okay. First of all, I heard your discussion about the landscaping in front of the town hall, and I'm very pleased to finally see that that's getting dressed up a little bit. No offense to the past, but it really needed a facelift.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, it's the face of your community, people come in there from out of town residents, community members, it's something that we should all be proud of, and I'm very glad to see that you're doing that. Speaking of landscaping, I was not here at the last meeting, so I'm getting some of this from here and a little bit from here, because we were away. But I understand that the maintenance contract for the library was brought up. I want to make it perfectly, absolutely, capital letters clear that that was an estimate that we received that has not been brought forward to the library board for any kind of discussion whatsoever and should not have gotten any further than what it did. So we have a meeting tomorrow, it will be discussed tomorrow, and we will go from there. But there was no indication whatsoever that this was going to be dropped off into the mailbox of the town to be paying for a town bill of maintenance of this, of landscaping maintenance on this library. That needs to be discussed by the library board and a library decision as to whether or not we go for it, the amount that we will allocate for it, and how we move forward on it. So, anybody here on the board that was upset by hearing that or anything, just calm.
Thank you for clarifying
Just
that.
calm it down.
Yep,
Okay, all right,
thank you.
and we will keep you informed.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
That's it. Bonnie? Kathy?
The insurance meeting tomorrow, does that include the crew?
No. We're interviewing two different agencies this year. So once we decide who we'll get, then the crew will come in on it.
Stephanie?
So the sign is a mystery? No one knows where it is? Because I don't know, Peter doesn't know.
Yeah, no, he said he tried.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
we kind of went around the table the other night, nobody knows. So, that's interesting.
That's okay. We have this one and that was the main
That's a
thing and
big
now Randy had to
sign, you
leave.
know,
I feel bad. Yeah,
Stop behind the bush, some,
yeah.
Yeah, who's got it there?
Okay, so round table.
some kids' bedroom.
Chris, you want to start with round table?
Okay, I recently discovered, like within the past 3 days, that increasing the wattage on LED streetlights does not increase the area of light that they cover. Does that make sense to everybody?
No.
Increasing the wattage on the LED
Cone.
lights does not,
The cone of light that's created by the LED bulb does not get any bigger.
Bigger, it's just
because you
brighter.
it
increase
just
the
gets
wattage of the
brighter. It
bulb.
gets brighter.
It gets brighter.
Okay.
But it does not get bigger. So I wanted to bring that to the board's attention because by going from the 25 to the 48 watt bulbs, that would eat up a lot of our savings. And I wish Randy was still here.
Me too.
Because I don't know if his intention was that more of the road be lit or just the cone be brighter. But it's.
Yeah, he certainly didn't make that clear, and I never thought of that. When I thought of lumens, I thought more light,
Right.
not necessarily where it would be thrown.
Yeah, I don't recall him
Well, his was
saying
mainly,
anything about lighting
as-
more of the road or.
it was more to do with plowing and
Yeah.
nighttime exposure. So I think we should round back up to him. My only input there was that where we are on Main Street with the village's update, it's adequate, but I don't think it's bright, you know? But I guess what they're telling you is if you need more thrown in a larger swath, you need more poles. That's probably a selling point for them, but.
I don't know, I wasn't talking to,
No, but I mean, just
Talking
logically speaking, if the cone does not widen, it's just brighter
right.
below
So
the
if we want
cobra, or what used to be the
more road coverage.
But I know they can also adjust them.
Yeah, there's a reflector that they can.
Yeah, and they can
work
adjust it so that it could probably, but I'll
with.
talk to
We need
Randy.
to have Randy's input there.
Right.
I noticed coming in tonight that it doesn't give much light, and in the village, the streetlights are so much closer together than they are.
Well, that's why Randy said, let's do the highway.
Absolutely, because he said when he came through the village at night, he said it absolutely was not adequate, the lighting that was there.
Right, that's what he was
But
saying.
I will run this by him
Yeah,
tomorrow morning.
He speaks I'm sure, every week with Roger, but Roger has yet to have a winner with these new
Right.
Yeah,
fixtures. So, yeah, I think we need to get that straight before we pull the.
Yeah, you know, Randy said he couldn't tell by looking under the street light if it was raining or snowing, but if you have your headlights on, you can tell.
You would think,
Yeah.
hopefully.
I
Seems
think
to me
he
when-
meant from his house.
Oh, okay. Oh, we'll put a bright one there in front of you.
yeah, there you go.
When you ride out from the village and get into the town, I've noticed the streetlight themselves in the village don't have the big orange bulb on them, so they do seem dimmer
Right.
when you get from the town into the village.
Yeah, I was surprised at how dim they are, really, but.
Yeah.
Seems
Anything
like
else,
they could
Chris?
put a different lens
No,
on
that
it.
was it, I
That
just
was
wanted to make sure we all knew about that
Yes.
before we.
Thank you.
Absolutely, okay, Nancy.
Oh, I got one question for Chris. Do they mention anything about putting a different lens on the light? Or can you ask about that
I can look into that, yeah.
to make
Different lens.
it spread out more?
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
thought.
this is all part of why Randy and Don too should be consulted.
Okay, I would, talk to National Grid about that.
Sorry, guys,
No, that's,
I wanna make sure I
I
have this
have
for Randy.
nothing anyway, so,
You have nothing?
nothing.
Okay, Neil.
The only one thing I have, and it's really not town business, but it's happening in our town, is a mailing went out about the fire tower fund. Okay, so you did receive.
Yeah, I brought him in case
Good,
anybody didn't
good.
receive it.
I'm a proponent, and I hope to be a donor. I hope that it will not in any way get in the way of our fundraising but this is bound to happen. I've been involved in fundraising things in Clarksville and here. And it happens, you know, there's two really good ideas, two really good, well-deserving projects. And I hope folks will, give it for both.
Yeah,
The village is spearheading this because it's in a village park, and I wish them well. I'm glad that you have those hooked up.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
That was it, Don.
No,
Nothing?
nothing.
Wow, okay. Okay, so I just want to mention in the last Association of Towns, there was a very good article on the Airbnbs, VBRO and HomeAway. So if anybody has not read it, it's probably a good idea to read it. I've been getting a lot of information from folks with concerns.
This one?
We get a copy of it
No,
at the
the
town
other
hall, if anybody wants to come and get a
The
copy.
last one, right?
Yeah, this one.
Here, this one, just let me make sure that I didn't put my, oh, you got it, you can have that one, it's a good one.
And we've got more in the office if anybody wants to take
Yeah,
take
there's
one.
a couple left, yep. But anyway, just for future, I think it's something in the very near future, we're gonna have to start addressing. How, there's a lot of ideas out there, a lot of people giving me ideas. So probably, I'm hoping towards the end of the year or maybe in winter time, we can put together a committee, that would wanna start working on it. Of course, we would also with the village, we should have someone from the village on that committee as well, as the town, and possibly a couple of people that are not on the village board or the town board, maybe outsiders that could be of help to us, involved. So I just kinda wanted to mention that. It's a great article. Read it, it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading up for these because of some of our discussions. Yeah, and quite frankly, I think this is a more, I won't say global, it is more global, but it's certainly statewide, it's national. Has there been any discussion of impact at the county on this?
Not at all, as I told you last meeting, I brought it up twice, it's on my agenda for this Thursday, because I'm going to let them know that if this is not something that the county is gonna take up with and start moving along, organizing it, that the town and the village will be working on it.
Well, in my time, one of the committees that I was on and chaired for a number of years had to do with tourism and had to do with economic development. I see this thing floating in and out of both of those on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah.
We were constantly looking at tourist housing, workforce housing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But these things truly impact our local economies, and they truly impact what already is a paucity of rooms. How do we get on board without getting in the way of this? How do we start
Absolutely.
crafting some well thought out? And I agree with you, you should have a big public input to this. Realtors,
Yeah.
sellers, buyers, not necessarily electeds, but maybe a
Right.
few.
Right,
But it's an issue. It's not necessarily a problem. It's an issue, but one that really has to be addressed
and even if we just
or made clear.
started out slow, start out with the safety issues.
Well, that's what it said in that article, about how that's the way to start
I
it.
really think that would get more people on board if they understood what we're trying to do. And then as we move along, then you can
Safety
start
reasons.
involving other things, but start out with the safety, which are we gonna wait till someone gets injured badly or
Right, yeah, I mean,
dear God, passes away because of something that's not regulated, no fire extinguishers or smoke
my
detectors, so
whole
we.
career has been in tourism and visitors from around here. You certainly have been fully squarely involved in this. I feel like I have a foot on the dock and a foot on the boat here, because you certainly don't want to mess up what has been a much greater ease of folks coming to the area.
Absolutely.
However, there are those folks who live close by to these things, worried about the control, the party houses,
Right.
the large use of these, which then, also plays into overtaxing people's septic and so on. So there's a lot of moving parts here. As I say, I don't want to be one that gets in the way of these, but we do have to make the community aware that towns and counties should start to be in the
Absolutely, and one of the.
area of information and control.
Yeah, and one of the big issues is you have commercial, zoned, and residential. And we have to be a little careful, not careful there, but there's a lot that are in residential areas. And again, it's as you said, it's kind of like, you don't want to discourage because we need the rooms, helps bring people here, but at the same time, we need to regulate somehow. And then once you really start getting into this, then who's gonna oversee all this? We may have to hire another employee to handle all this, because there's no way our code enforcement officer can honestly handle this.
Well, perhaps the
Mystery code
new
enforcement.
person and, make more hours.
Well, I mean, if he wants to work full-time,
involved,
absolutely, but that's what we're gonna have to do.
Dealing with something.
Yeah,
Right.
you have to be very aware of your local zoning
Right.
before you go any farther.
Right.
With, any sort of enforcement. But some things may need to be added to or augmented in that zoning. And quite frankly, within our county, and that's probably why they shy away from it at that level, each town has a little bit of different take on zoning, so.
But we don't wanna discourage people, but at the same time, we have to start looking at the safety aspects of it
Yeah.
and,
And the ship,
so this was just a little
ship has sailed.
thing I wanted to bring up. It's a great article in the Talk of Towns, for everyone to read. One more thing that I did wanna mention, is that we do have an uptick in COVID locally. I had a meeting with, county health today, and our testing supplies are kind of getting a little limited. So we're asking folks for the testing is to, you know, you can buy them at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, you can actually buy your self-tests. Not that they want to discourage anybody, but our supplies are limited at this point, and they're not being offered like they were at all. So, Erica and I had talked today, and we thought that we could just suggest that the folks, if they're at all concerned, to get themselves the self-testing kits. As things develop and we start getting the vaccines, right now we don't have the Moderna booster yet. We're hoping to get it within the next few weeks. And as soon as we do, we'll be starting to do the pods again like we did initially in the beginning. We're starting to find that people that have had the vaccine, but early on, they're starting to say now that, you know, the Pfizer, Moderna are only lasting like 8 months. So we want to try to get people the booster and try to get everybody updated with that to help hold it off. And that's the best we can do at this point.
Do we have numbers?
We don't have numbers. What kind of numbers are you looking?
How many positives are in the town? How many are hospitalized? How many what?
No, we don't have that. That was not part of our,
I think
why
we
we met
should.
today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, I know there's one in Arietta, there's, one positive, 1, 2, 3. I know of 3 positives in Lake Pleasant. I know that there's quite a few being quarantined just as precautionary. I think Indian Lake has 1 positive, so it is definitely happening, you know, all around. It's kind of popping up.
Over the summer, they used to put it even out on Facebook, how many
And they
had
did,
what. And
but
then
I have to be
It can't be a
honest.
secret, really, I mean,
No,
you should know.
it's not a secret. I'm gonna be honest, the health department has been working hours and hours and hours like they were in the beginning when this first started. They're really getting fried, so we sat today and talked about ways that we can help this. A lot of employees are getting burned out, so there's concerns. Not saying anybody's quitting their job, please don't take it out of context, but they're under a lot of pressure. They're working a lot of hours again, you know, even if they're in the office and making phone calls. And when they call people and people aren't being honest, you know, that they have these symptoms, and if they've been around someone and then someone else calls and says, well, I was around so-and-so and they're positive, and so my sister was around them too, well, we just talked to that person and they said they weren't around anybody. So unless people are gonna be honest,
Good luck.
how much can our health
Yeah.
department do? They're really trying, so that is making it extremely stressful.
Right.
Because then they're getting phone calls, well, I work with so-and-so and I was around them and they tested positive and I wanna come get tested and this is what is happening. So the best we can do is
numbers
educate.
until they're correct.
Absolutely, so that's why
Phony
it's,
numbers or things to give you hope and or
Right.
fear.
and we're not gonna get positive numbers because people are not coming out with it and being honest.
No, but if people
So-
come out and take the test, there should be a list of how many people took the test.
Well,
how
like
many
I know
people came up positive and
Friday, I'm
everything.
not sure, oh my gosh, how many people took the test? There was
Yeah.
1 positive on Friday in Lake Pleasant,
One,
1.
well, that's not really an update, is it? I mean, there's been up to 20 in the town over the summer.
That was just the testing Friday.
Yeah.
That's not saying how many people have called and county nursing has gone there and tested them, you know, privately, or, you know, they've gone up to county and been tested. So
Once
that's
again,
just that one
just gonna
testing.
throw it out here. Positive tests by people who have been vaccinated, who don't end up being sick,
Right.
to me is specious. It has, it's not trackable, and what it tells me is not having any medical background at all, but being around this tangentially for years and years, everyone gets a virus if the virus is around. How you react to it, how your body fights it, is what we're talking about. Everyone's catching a cold as we sit here. Rhinovirus hasn't gotten beat either. So I just for fear factor here, only those who have been vaccinated, then test or no test, get sick, and then test positive for this being the genesis of them being sick. Those are the things of concern.
Right.
The rest of this can have you chasing your own tail.
And it seems like they're mild cases. They're not people being hospitalized like they were a month ago. So it's
County did a good job on vaccines, and I'm sure they'll do a good job on boosters.
Yep.
Well,
And
even
they
that
have
should,
Pfizer boosters up there.
right.
Yeah,
even that should be
Folks
a
that are
positive,
Pfizer.
saying how many, if it was just let out, the numbers were let out, and that less people, people knew, if people knew the truth, what was going on, what's really going on, there's more cases, but nobody's getting really sick. I think that would have a more positive effect on people getting the test and admitting they've been exposed
Yeah.
than just hiding everything from them or not reporting it.
Yeah.
I'd love
Or how
to-
about just educating them to get vaccinated?
Yeah, well, they've
Okay,
been
well, let's
doing
not get
that.
into that debate.
Yeah,
We're
but we're
fine.
getting
If you live
So-
in New York, you get free french fries.
Just to mention that
Get a lot of
if
free
you
stuff.
if you had the Moderna, you have to have the Moderna booster. If you had the Pfizer, you have to have the Pfizer. And like you just said, you cannot switch them off. You have to have the same one that you had the first time around. So as soon as the Moderna and the Pfizer are available, we'll be letting everyone know. We'll be setting up the pods like we did, whether it's at the school, I don't know where it'll be, but we'll be getting that together.
No, Pfizer is available now.
Yep.
So the people that were vaccinated with the Moderna first will be offered the booster first. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not
It's
gonna,
probably age.
I won't
Well,
say.
that's how that was.
There's too many
Yeah, that-
mixed
way too
guidelines
many.
out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
I can't say that, no.
When the things are there, I'm sure the county health will put out the
Yeah.
new protocol.
Yeah,
I would agree with you down there. It would be people in risk first.
Yeah.
Age.
yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
spread out.
Right.
Okay, so our next meeting will be October 18th at 7 PM. And at this time, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll do that.
Okay, second?
I would say.
Okay. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yes, rainy night.
Are you gonna proceed with the picture without Randy being here?
I'm a little disappointed that Randy's not here, but I guess we can just get a picture with Randy separately. I'll take it back to town hall
I
tomorrow.
prefer Randy not being in my picture.
I'm so disappointed.
Well, if he was behind us, it'd be okay.
Clean
Oh,
shirt.
who has a camera?
Damn it.
Who has a
For
camera?
once.
Nobody.
Good night, Bonnie.
Good night.